May I observe the protocols that have been established? Thank you. I'm sure some of you are asking, in what capacity is she here? In what capacity am I here? I believe, because, since I'm a retired judge, they might be saying, how come she's here? And more so in our time, as judges, we hardly ever associated with practicing lawyers. Eric, am I right? Hardly. We met in court, and that was it. I don't know about, no, I will not say anything about today. It's a very long time. I was in the judiciary of Kenya for 35 years. Faith, you remember you asked me the other day that, Judge, you are one of the few judges at the beginning. Faith, I was the second woman magistrate and judge in this country. I found only one woman in the Kenyan judiciary. That is Justice Effie Owuor. We are both retired now. Just one woman. And that's the day I met her, the day I went to appear before the Judicial Service Commission. That's the day I met her. I had never met her before. But look at where we are. Look at what we built. Look at where the judiciary is. So I said, Faith, if I could be the second woman magistrate and judge in this country, what stops you from becoming the second woman, now president of the Law Society? What stops you? The first time that the Law Society had a woman was 2001. Her Excellency Rachel Mamu. According to your arithmetic, how many years is that? She was 2001 to 2003. How many years is that? I only practice old mathematics. What about new mathematics? How many years? 21. Somebody says 23, somebody 21. It's a very, very long time, isn't it? We have had one voice. There's nothing wrong with the voice we have been having, the voice of men, male presidents. But honestly, it is time for the second woman president of the Law Society. It's 21, 23 years. It's time to hear the other voice, isn't it? And Faith, it is you who is bringing that, who is going to be that other voice. For positions in life, there are very many positions, and for positions in life, sometimes you have to campaign. I'll let you into a secret and tell you at what level I campaigned. I did not know that in all these international courts and tribunals, you have to campaign. Not here, because there's nobody voting for you in your country, but when I was nominated by the Kenya government to run for a position at the for a judge at the International Criminal Court, the campaign, the seat of the campaign is in New York at the General Assembly in New York. So campaign is everywhere. And on that particular year, the quota of African judges at the International Criminal Court was said to have been met because there was a judge from Ghana at the ICC, there was a judge from Mali, and there was a judge from Uganda. There were three. And if anything, they would have expected only one judge from Africa at that time, that year. That was 2009. And from Africa alone, 22 African countries had nominated judges to run for that, because this is a court international, so they elect judges from different regions. So from Africa alone, we were 22 candidates, just Africa. and you are competing with other regions. And usually, when African Union or any other regional body endorses a candidate, that candidate must be elected because the other regions will respect that. So here I was, 22 candidates from Africa, and one of them has been endorsed by the African Union. Countries rush quickly to go and ask the African Union, endorse this one. So our country wasn't one of those who went to have an endorsement. So this is what I was up against. So despite all that, if you have a record, like you have, Faith, I had a record. Part of it you just heard now, but I had a record. I had judicial experience because I started my judicial career at the lowest level possible. It was called District Magistrate Professional, DM2 Professional. But if you have a record, if you have a good record, there's nothing to fear when elections come. Faith, you have nothing to fear. When elections come, if you have built a record, then that's the record that you are going to rely on. So that's what I relied on. And despite the fact that we were 22 candidates from Africa, one of them, Botswana, my friend, she had been endorsed by the African Union, and all these states parties sitting in the General Assembly in New York, they expected that only one candidate from Africa would be elected. But you know what? 2 of us were elected that year. The one who had been endorsed by the African Union, and this one coming from Kenya with her experience. So elections are all over. Elections are all over. So don't be scared. Don't be put off. Just stick your neck out. Don't be scared. Now, I also want to say that we have an association, Women in Alternative Dispute Resolution. Alternative dispute is like mediation, arbitration, conciliation. We have that. It's a newly registered association since 2020. By that time, I had already come back. I'm now retired. 35 years Kenya Judiciary, 9 years International Criminal Court. That's more than enough. 44 years. It's more than enough, isn't it? If I continue, then where will you all be? I want you all to come up and go where I've been, or pass. Where I've been is nothing. Go and pass that. So this association, Faith is a member, and there are several other women who are members. We are encouraging the practice of alternative dispute. There are many, many people who cannot afford lawyers. I know lawyers don't like this, but that's the fact. There are many people who cannot afford you lawyers, and yet they have disputes. So we encourage them, we train them on mediation, arbitration, conciliation. And that's women. There's a group of women who are doing that and working very hard. Eunice Lumala is the chairperson. So when there's a chairperson in an association, the only other person can only be a grandmother. So I'm a patron. I believe I'm a grandmother then in the association. So we are encouraging women as much as we can, and that's Faith is one of our members. This is what she's bringing to the Law Society. We are peace builders. She's going to bring building peace in the association, in the Law Society. So Faith, I want to wish you the very best of luck. I want to assure you, you are not the first to campaign. Look at the level where I was campaigning. General Assembly in New York. I left this ground, I went to campaign out there, and I made it. You have to make it. I have mentored Faith, and I'll continue to mentor her, and I wish her the very best of luck, that she gets the ticket, and that is the day the work begins, isn't it? The day you get the ticket, that's the day work begins. very best of luck, and I hope that you please vote for Faith and so many other candidates who came up. That's the spirit. Competition, it is a spirit. That's why I'm talking to you about the story of how I have competed. And I know there is nobody who was practicing at the time that I was a judge in this country. Things have changed, but that's a story for another day. That's a story for another day, and today is only to launch and for me to tell Faith that please keep that spirit. The rule of law, please. At least the current chair talked a little. I will not go into details. I don't want to go into details for obvious reasons, but the rule of law, keep that in mind all the time. And your PSP will be checking on you, and I'll be saying, hey, Faith, PSP, the agenda. Congratulations, please come up. All your friends are here, not just here, in every other part of the country. I did come, at that time, at the platform where I was campaigning, people don't know you as a person, but they identify you with your country. So we are identifying you with what you have done. Well done, best of luck, and I'm so glad that we started today by prayers up to the Holy Communion we had this morning. Best of luck, and we'll be talking as and when we are able to. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.